Hi, this is Healing with Sunshine, and I have a message for you today. I do not know exactly what the message is going to be, so I have my cards here and we will find out. The Judge, right there. The Judge card could be either, you judging others, others judging you, or possibly even legal, with a judge, an actual judge. So let's expand and see. The next one is the Village. You know what? I kind of feel like this one is a little bit, gives a little explanation to me about judging the village. Right there. Like everybody has it. I just feel like this goes back to, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I kind of feel like that's what this is referring to, is that village and family of some sort. Perhaps not biological family, but maybe just chosen family. I don't even know what that says. Santos. Not really sure about that, but I do see, obviously, the spider web is there. But what I see is this in the center right here. All of this with the hands. Yeah. That to me is where the interest lies in this card, and it's a lot of different hands. But that kind of goes back to the village. I feel like this is kind of all of the hands in the village that have been around. And now there's judgment on the village as a whole. Maybe this is someone that feels really judged by their family, or maybe their family is judging, the people that they are around and not seeing the value, perhaps. The Sustainer. This looks like someone is really creating something from scratch, like it's raw materials that they are using to create that right there. And the hands, again, it's many hands. The hands are very important because the hands is what is in each photo. Each and every one of these have the hands in them. And look, it's not all, maybe it is. No, it's not all cards. Not all of them have hands. At least not that I can see. The Starborn. That's the card I just picked up. But this one is really kind of interesting because it looks like perhaps this is you, or this may be your family unit, or whatever this egg is. But it's been in an incubation time, and now it's like the egg is starting to crack right here. But look at all these beautiful things around it. All of these beautiful things around it. And that goes underneath of the Village card. So it's like we've been, maybe not maybe we have been judging our village. I don't know, but you got the Judge and the Village, and this is directly underneath of the Village. Wow. And the sustainer right underneath of the judge. So the judge can create. The judge is creating with the village. And I feel like this is almost like the spider web. I feel like that's a network. It's a network of, it's just a network in all of these, how this is the little detail there. It's all supporting itself. It's all supporting what's around it. So that's that network. What about this network? Oh, I see a card, but maybe that's not. There we go. The orphan with a snake around it. That actually speaks volumes to me. It's like this person with the hand right here. That's a young hand. It's a very young hand. And it also has the 5 on there. But it's a young hand. And it's reaching for this flower right here. But then there's this snake. The snake that wrapped around it. It's like maybe there's a circle around it that's maybe, I don't know. I'm going to pull others on that, but that's within that network. I don't know. I have to pull something else on that one. It's speaking to me. I just don't know the exact way I need to present. And I think it is like someone has singled themselves away from something. And it's like they've got this, I almost feel like it's what this orphan has surrounded himself with. You know what I mean? It's like this wall, this snake. It's maybe a viper or something that's going to bite and, take care of this individual here who's trying to reach for that flower. There's beautiful things in there, but can't even reach it. Can't even reach the beautiful flower because of this guardian snake around it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's within that network. I don't know. Let's expand. Keep expanding. The tear. That's a beautiful card as well. There's so much detail in the drop. That's what I'm going to hold this up closer so you can see just the drop. So that's right there. The drop. Oops. The drop. So you can see all the detail in it. It's got a lot of green around it, which to me represents healing and protection. But it's got this gold, the gold drop right in the center. And I feel like this is kind of, what do I say? It's like these are all of the parts of you that you've collected that you feel are worth hiding and protecting are actually the golden parts. And I feel like this is all those tears, you know what I mean, that's cried and made this person the orphan within this network. And it's sad. It's really, really sad to this individual. But what they don't understand is, I feel like that's God watching over. That's the protection. That's the That's the part they don't see, is this protection that's within the network, even though the orphan is crying tears. I was just actually speaking on that earlier, the mirror. Maybe the orphan can look in the mirror at themselves and the walls that they've built and see where exactly they fit in the network. Where do they fit in their village? Because they're starborn. You see that? I mean, there's all this beautiful transformation going on around them, flowers and colors and all sorts of things going on. But it's like all they can see is the fact that they were an orphan. I mean, that's, not maybe an actual orphan, but that can be metaphoric as well. Like maybe you felt alone and you've built this wall around yourself, cried many tears, but not being willing to look at your own role within the tears, within that wall. Maybe we need to spend time within that wall that we've built around and figure out what's going on in the mirror. Now, this can also be reflective. This can also be that perhaps you're reflecting back to someone what they're putting out, or vice versa. But that's not what I think. I think this is like going and inward and looking for what's inside to find out. I don't know. I just get the feeling that the village is very imperfect. It really, really is. But you know what? Everybody's is. Everybody's village is a little messed up. And that's okay, because that makes us real, and that makes us human, and that makes us all of the different parts that we need to be in order to create what it is that we're creating here. Ooh, check that out. The Destroyer. I feel like this is an outside energy. Like an outside energy that's threatening, that's making someone feel alone in all of these cards here. Because it also has a circle. Kind of like maybe the, like a devil card or something like that. There's something that is wanting to destroy, but you know what? That to me is standing out as the mirror. So maybe this orphan, in building, putting the snake around to protect him or whatever, maybe that's what's destroying everything. Or maybe that's all that they see. Maybe they're actually not destroying anything and they just think they are. That's cool. I don't know what's going on there. That's a really cool analogy, but I don't know where this... I feel like there's something else to these little things right here. Like maybe there's ideas or assistance around the Destroyer. And this looks like, I don't know, with all the little spiky things around, it looks like anger. Maybe there's a lot of anger. maybe if the Destroyer just turns their head left or right, they can see them. Maybe it's about perspective. You can't see yourself as a Destroyer and then create something beautiful. And first of all, we have to acknowledge the fact that we all have parts of ourselves that are trying to destroy other parts of ourselves. Alethea, I think is what that says. But it's a rose. And it's black and white. And it's polar opposite on either side. Different color with a little dot in there. I don't know if you can see, but it's like the white rose is what's sticking out to me. But if you can see up close right there, there's a tiny little outline around that rose. And it's in the darkness right there. And it's able to shine. Even though that picture is mostly dark, it's still able to shine. And it really stands out. The rose does. And when you look at this side, look how small the darkness is around. There's just not much darkness in this half of the photo. It's mostly light. There's, the little bit of darkness right here that is the flower itself. But the light is still dominant, whether it is the dark side of the photo or the light side of the photo. I guess it really actually depends on where you decide to focus. Do you want to focus on the fear and the anger and the resentment? Or do you want to focus on the light, which would be your love, your gratitude, and just your genuineness, the kindness, the love? I think it's really all about that love. But this also reminds me, we all have to accept our shadows and integrate our shadows. You can decide whether you want to be mostly shadow with a little light that really stands out, or you can decide to be mostly light and then have a dark patch that really stands out. Let's get some different cards on this. The Pentacles. It looks to me like there's a significant relationship there. And there's lots of blessings around it. And the little doggies in the picture always make me feel like there's extra blessings. Because I do love animals. They're so cute. But then there's this guy back here who's looking at these two, and he doesn't look real happy about them being together, does he? So maybe there's something in here that's trying to threaten this relationship. And I get the feeling that that's the judge. That being the judge, and it's funny because I laid it right on top of the judge card. The Three of Swords. Oh, and that goes on the Village card, and I think that is, I don't know, it almost feels like there's someone in the village that wants heartbreak. And it's probably the judge. The judge probably wants the heartbreak for those two. And it's funny, the Sustainer card is underneath of the judge, but I don't feel like it's a good judge in that seat. I feel like it's a kind of a crooked judge, not with the best interest of anyone but perhaps himself. And I don't even necessarily know if he cares what's best for himself. I think he just wants to be grumpy. And the Page of Wands comes next. And that goes under the one with the web and all the hands. So I think that's a young energy that's coming in and just really wants to create, and wants to create that network and create, I don't know, it gives me the feeling of his whole life is ahead of him, kind of a thing, or her. And the Five of Cups. I think the Sustainer, which is the Judge, this is the one that goes on top of that card. Look how sad this guy looks. Perhaps being the Sustainer isn't really what was supposed to be happening there. Maybe their vision of what they were sustaining was the Pentacles. Maybe the Pentacles aren't what should have been the focus of sustaining. Because look, he's got 3 spilled and 2 left, which is plenty. There's only 1 of him. He only needs 1 thing to drink, right? And he's got 2 over here. But still, look at those that are spilled. And look how sad he is about the fact that they spilled. Perhaps he was trying to sustain others. Maybe that's actually what it is, because look, there's water in that. There's water in there. So I think maybe his emotions are sad because he's been trying to sustain all of this, but can only sustain this. Feels like maybe he's let everybody down or everything down or something of that nature, which he hasn't. Let himself down. I don't really see much else that could be really let down by that, because all of these things going on around this couple in here are around them. You know, it's not anything other than what's around them that's creating that. Because between, you know, within them and between them, they're happy. Oh wow, I had a whole bunch of these fall out. Let's just look through this little pile. Oh yeah, that's way too many. That's funny, the Starborn, look at that. I don't know how many swords that is, but that's a lot of swords. In the back of the Starborn. And it's funny because the Starborn within that village has swords all over it. And this orphan, I just feel like, is just looking for love and not realizing that all he has to do is, you know, move his hand, move his perspective, you know, this far. He'd find exactly what he's looking for, and he'd realize that he wasn't an orphan. This Page of Wands really stands out to me. I feel like I want to expand on that more, because the Page of Wands in this situation gives me hope. And there's the Four of Cups. Like I've said in the past, I don't actually read the tarot cards according to what they mean, but the photos and things mean different things to me. And I use that as signs and symbols to give you what the message is. For the Four of Cups, that guy looks a little stubborn, doesn't he? Like he's got all of this stuff around him, but he don't want any of it. Like maybe he's just being grumpy at a standstill, maybe because he's grumpy. What in the world is trying to hand him that cup? Maybe he can't see whatever that is. Maybe that's what it is. He can't see it. Because he's looking down at the three that he's got, but he can't see this other one up here. And that might just be the fact that it's young, that it's a young person. I don't necessarily know if it's a young individual or if their thoughts on things are, or maybe it's their young self that's coming forward in this, wishing that they had chosen maybe a different network and wishing that they had investigated the choices better. Hmm. More swords. You see how he's kind of over here and these other guys are back here? It just kind of reinforces the fact that the orphan is right underneath of that card and that he feels like he's, well, not only is he by himself, he's by himself because he took everybody else's swords, you know? The guy crying in the background and stuff too. Everybody's sad except the one guy holding the swords. Well, maybe his friends wouldn't want to stab him in the back because this, like I said, it's a starborn individual. It's a beautiful. There's all of this stuff around, all of this love around, and there's so much focus on all these damn swords. I don't necessarily think that any of the swords even really matter. I think they're just there. I don't think that there's, I mean, sure, I feel like the village is trying to attack the individual, with these. I feel like this dude over here, he's staring directly at all these spilled cups and can't even see the ones that are right behind him. All he has to do is turn around. This guy, just longing for that fourth cup to show up, but he's looking at the three he's already got and can't even see the one that's right here. And this guy might have somebody to hang out with if he didn't take everybody's swords. I do see that as victorious as well. So maybe he's won a battle and all of that, but I'm just going back to the orphan card and looking what's in the mirror and seeing the destroyer, seeing yourself as the destroyer, and seeing that there's light and shadow in every picture. There's light and shadow in every person. There's light and shadow. And we really just need to, maybe it's not the village stabbing this person. Maybe it's themselves. Yeah, I kind of think that might be it too. Because look, all these coins, all this pinnacles around, plenty of wonderful things going on. But then she's sitting there with swords drawn and a blindfold on. Again, if she just turned her head, you'd see all of this. You'd see all of this. But she'd rather sit there, swords drawn, ready for a fight that isn't there. The fight's not even there. What the crap is that? I feel like we live that way a lot, though. We go through life with our swords drawn, and it's just us against the world kind of a mentality at this point. but there's still a village. The village is not perfect. Nobody's village is going to be perfect. But I think it's about finding your own place within that village and knowing that the village is full of a whole lot of people. There's a whole lot of people in a village. You know what I mean? A village is not just an individual. It's not an individual that makes a village. It's a whole lot of people. So maybe being by yourself and assuming that everybody wants to stab you in the back like this and taking their swords before they even get a chance to stab you in the back. It's keeping us sitting right here, swords drawn, wearing a blindfold, unable to see all of this beauty that God has put around us. There's abundance everywhere. Everywhere. And this chick can't even see it. Isn't that wild? Yep. Again, laying in bed, right there, gold, laying on a bed of gold. Beautiful stained glass window there to look at. And laying right under the swords. Those swords are not touching this individual, but this individual is choosing to lay under them. Maybe we need to investigate the part of the village that you should be with versus not, and telling, I feel like it's blood family judging the village. Perhaps it's not, but telling them to take a hike as far as their judgment on the village. I'm not, seriously, you don't have to tell them to leave your life or anything, but you know what? You should stand up for your village. That I do know. You should stand up for your village, because no matter what, you were born into the family that you were born into. But the village is not created just by your parents. God gives you people everywhere that come in and out of your lives and can make a difference. And at this point, we are all just staying so very disconnected from each other that we don't even know how to be a village anymore. We don't know how to be supportive and to help each other grow. We don't know how to do it anymore. And it hasn't been that long since we were supposed to have been doing it. You know, everybody says, oh, it's different after COVID, but is it really? Is it really different after COVID? I don't know. Maybe we're aware of it more now since we've been isolated. But granted, it's worse than what it was. But I think that a lot of what goes on within the village has to do with how we're looking at the village and who within the village matters and who doesn't. And I think I'm going to leave that right there. Thanks for watching.